Look at this beautiful piece of equipment. Probably wondering, Jake, why is this half-broken rake so important? Well, back in June, I absolutely destroyed the guts of this machine by running it into a high spot in the ground, and slip clutch didn't slip, and this thing basically just exploded. That's the aftermath. And now here we are 8 months later, and we're still reassembling it. But the other day, my brother and I finally got the main guts of this machine back together. The whole thing that we were struggling with was this gearbox, because everything on this rake is built on a shaft, and this shaft is actually this thing right here. Everything is built on the shaft. This gearbox was super rusty inside of the hole, and it was a pain to get on, and we needed a torch. Well, us still being kind of a small and starting farm, we didn't have a torch. Until recently, we finally picked up a mid-sized torch, and we were able to heat up this gearbox enough to where we could put it on, pound on it with a hammer, and it went on. Then we got the nut on, got everything bolted down, put the main tongue or frame, whatever you want to call it, bolted back on, the shaft on, the hose and everything, the jack. Now it is a movable piece of equipment, because for the longest time it was just the chassis sitting in here, and we were putting piece by piece on every once in a while when parts would come in and when we had time to do it. It was just taking up so much shop space, and it was a mess in here. But we got it back together to where I can hook it up to a tractor and get it out of the shop if need be to pull some other equipment in. Currently what I'm working on though is these tines. These tines here, this one and those over there are the loose ones. All of these here are good and tight as far as the cam follower and cam roller are concerned. These here all have some work that needs done to them. This one right here, super sloppy. This one's a little bit sloppy. This one is starting to get sloppy up here, and this one I'm waiting for a new pillow block, which is this piece right here. With some of these being so loose, we thought that these cam followers were egged out, but after taking this one apart, this one is relatively new. The previous owner would have replaced it at some point, and so I'm thinking that it's just the roll pins were wearing out. So I got a set of new roll pins here. We're gonna put it in here and see if that fixes it. If that's the problem, then I'm just gonna get some new roll pins for all these, and rather than getting a bunch of new cam followers, because the cam follower itself is like 40-50 bucks. So times 4, 200 bucks in cam followers, because parts are stupid expensive. So if it's just some roll pins or spring pins, whatever you want to call them, I'm gonna do that. I originally thought that I was gonna have to get a bunch of new roll pins and some roller thingamabobs here for the 5 tines that were sitting here, but after a lot of banging and PB blaster and brake cleaner and hammering, I managed to figure out that there's random sizes of these things. We knew when we bought this thing that the previous owner or owners had abused it a good bit. You know, the tongue is bent and it's just kind of rough, but at the time we were trying to buy a rotary rake, there were hardly any available, and the ones that were available were a ridiculous price. So it was kind of, we got what we could find, and after diving into the internals of this thing, we're finding that some of the replacement parts or whatever they had fixed, just, I don't know. Every one of these tines has the same shaft except one of them. One of the new ones I put in had a different shaft, or a different one of these things right here, and the hole was different. The size of this hole was different. And then one of these things on one of those, I forget which tine, but one of those tines, it had small holes on this, and then the other tine had a big hole on the shaft and a big hole on this, and well, they were both loose, so I ended up just swapping the roller arm thing and roll pins, and now they're solid and tight. So is it the proper fix? I don't know. Were they really tight and they weren't wobbly? No, there was no wiggle in them at all, and they're gonna work just fine. So I don't know how many more years we're gonna own this rake. Dad and I were talking about getting either a twin rotary rake or possibly a wheel rake. Just, we're throwing our options around. This is an 11-foot rake. We pull it with the case. The case burns a lot of gas, and a single rotor rake, it does take a while. If we were to go with a bigger rake though, you know, we would have to make sure it still fits through certain gates. It would have to still have a good travel size. A wheel rake is kind of looking like that might be kind of the option. I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking we'll probably run this one here this year yet and maybe trade it in next year. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm replacing a lot of these roll pins because there's slop in them. So I'm taking the roll pins out of these holes, pulling the cam rollers and cam followers off, and inspecting them and figuring out what new parts I need. Like I said, 2 of them I have in. I swapped some parts around there tight. There's 3 left here. So this one didn't have much play as far as back and forth like this. This hole was nice and good, but it did have some up and down play. And if you look, you can kind of see that that hole's kind of egged out. At least in the front here, it's a little bit egged out. So we're gonna have to get a new one of these, and we'll get a new one of these rollers too, some new roll pins, and make a whole new unit. And the whole new unit will look like this. The only problem is that I'm running into is that some of the sizes of these parts are a little odd. These holes are not the same size. The reason that's a problem is because these shafts, this is a smaller hole and this is a bigger hole. So when I go to put a big roll pin in here to fill this out, it won't go in here. Now I can drill this hole out, but I'm just confused why I need to do that. Why isn't the hole the right size in the first place? Just had a good old lunch of chicken salad sandwiches. So where I'm at with this project is, well, I'm at a standstill because I'm waiting on parts. These new pieces here have big holes. And the problem is the original roll pin has a lot of slop in it. See, that's not good. The shaft over here doesn't have slop. That roll pin will fit in there because it's the original shaft and the original roll pin. And this is the original cam roller. As you can see, smaller hole, tight fit, that would be tight. But these new pieces have big holes. And the new roll pins that you get with these are big. They fit in here, but this hole over here, they won't fit in. So I ended up getting 3 new shafts. These guys right here. Another one of these, because I already have 2 new ones. Here's one, there's one over there, and I ordered 1 new one. And then a bunch of new roll pins. These are the originals. They're a little small. The new ones are big. So like I said, as of now, I'm just waiting on parts at the moment, but we are coming down the home stretch with this rake. Not all the tines are in yet, but look, first time this thing is spun since June. This is our last big hurrah for hay. So we've got 3rd cutting loaded up here. Absolutely gorgeous color, gorgeous hay. Just beautiful. Camera doesn't do it justice. Also got some snow, as you can tell. This is the 3rd cutting pile. This is the last of my stuff that I have available, and it's actually all spoken for. Loaded up a load there. I got another load here that's going to the same guy, and then I need to figure out what I have left, because whatever I have left is going to go to another gentleman. This pile of 1st cutting here, spoken for. Someone's coming to pick it up tomorrow evening. I went to auction this morning to try to find some hay to buy, and there was the same guy that I bought this from with more of this stuff. I just wasn't sure if I wanted it. It went for pretty cheap, kind of kicking myself that I didn't get it. Didn't take anything to auction though, but the guy that I normally sell straw to was there, and I ended up selling a load to him, of straw for $200 a ton. That's about what I was getting at auction. So he was there. He was like, "You have straw?" I was like, "I don't have straw with me today, but I can sell you a load for $200 a ton if you want it." We're gonna take that Friday. We're gonna take that load at 12 o'clock. I'm gonna come back and load up another load of this stuff. Hopefully to take it tomorrow morning, and then load up the rest of this stuff for the other gentleman and take that either tomorrow afternoon or Friday morning. And then I gotta deliver that load of straw to the Amish guy Friday afternoon, and tomorrow afternoon, evening, they're coming to get that. It's just kind of a madhouse a little bit. This, not madhouse, but I've just got, there's logistics when dealing with all these loads of hay. I'm not a big hay farm by any means, but just with the little bit of hay that I do sell and that I'm trying to move around, you know, sometimes I get weeks where I might sell 1 load of hay, and other weeks I just get, you know, everybody coming in at once, and I just got all these loads that I got to move out, and I got to figure out my schedule because I don't have machines to help load all my hay here with like grabbers or accumulators and all that stuff. So I have to do everything by hand. So I got to give myself time to load, and I'm a one-man show, so it's just a lot of stuff going on. Another beautiful winter day here on the farm, hauling hay, hauling straw, the norm. Just another typical day here on the farm, but we got one big update. We are pretty much cleaned out, almost, very close. Bunch of us helped load up 90 bales last night at 6 o'clock. These are big, heavy 60-pounders. Same lady who bought them is going to come back and get the rest of them. We just couldn't fit them all in the trailer. I delivered the last of our 3rd cutting hay here this morning. Sold the last 14 bales of 1st cutting. Got everything cleaned up, as you can see. Got the tractor over there, some pallets picked up. And then I just got back from delivering another load of straw. Pile's getting tiny. So I do have one order for that straw. Someone needs 30 bales in May, so I have to hold on to 30 of those bales. But these big bales here are going sometime next week. The back corner of hay that I have, that's steer hay, so we're going to haul that out to the barn here at some point. And then at that point, we just got to do some buying and selling. I still got clients that have called me and said, hey, they need some hay. So we still got to keep working those channels and trying to find some stuff. But other than that, we are cleaned out and we are ready for hay season. I don't normally do much filming at nighttime, but I just wanted to show you that sunset and let y'all know that God is good. He's real. Because sunsets like that don't happen by chance. Anyway, I'm out here on this beautiful Sunday evening feeding the steers. I just like this time of night. It's calm, it's peaceful, and I enjoy it. Especially enjoy those sunsets.